Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I am so excited for today's video because it's going to be two different things. It's going to be a fall eyeshadow look, which I'm so ready to start just shooting out the fall looks, and it's also going to be a haul from iKATEHOUSE. I came across a video the other day where someone was comparing one of the palettes on that site to the Anastasia Subculture palette. So I got on there and started looking around, and they have so many cool things. They have so many different brands I've never heard of, and you guys know I love finding hidden gems and things that no one ever talks about. I like to be different. But one thing that I think is really cool about this site is that you do accumulate points with each order. So I did decide to contact the company to see if they would send me some products to try out for a video, and they were so nice, and they told me that they would put some credit on my account. They did put a 5,000 point credit on my account, which translated to $50. I asked for one $15 palette, and they were so nice to let me pick out $50 worth of stuff. So thank you so much to iKATEHOUSE. I could not be more appreciative. So like I said earlier, I did find a video where someone was comparing a palette from iKATEHOUSE to the Subculture palette, so I did want to pick up that palette. But then I started looking around and I started finding other palettes from the brand. So I got three. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through all this stuff that I picked up, and then I'll actually put it on my face and create a look with it. So the palettes that I'm talking about are from Kara Cosmetics. These are the 35 color eyeshadow palettes. Here's what the box looks like that the palettes come in. It's a very thick, pretty high quality box, and everything in the box was packaged so securely. I mean, it was bubble wrapped to the gods. I mean, they did an amazing job of packaging, so thank you so much. I really appreciate not receiving broken eyeshadows and stuff. So I do wish they would call their palette something different, because they do a number system. Like they have the ES06, ES07, ES09. I just don't really like that, and they're kind of hard to find on the palette. Like it's really small on the front of it. It does come with a mirror and two little sponge tip applicators. The mirror is actually really good size. But as you can see, the shade selection is absolutely gorgeous, and I haven't seen a palette with this shade selection ever. And you do have a mixture of mattes and shimmers in here, and the palettes I got are literally perfect for fall. I mean, you cannot get more fallish. So I believe this one, which is the ES09, I'm just gonna call it the 09 palette. I believe this is what they were calling a dupe for the Subculture palette, but I didn't really see dupes for every shade in this palette, so that's why I started kind of venturing around to find other palettes. So I also picked up the ES06, we're gonna call it the 06. Again, very similar colors to like the Subculture palette. It's a very similar vibe. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of the Subculture palette to one of these palettes at least, if not all of them that I got. But that's going to be a different video. We're not comparing it to the Subculture palette today. And these shades right here, these reddish tones, oh my god. Then the last palette I got is the ES07, but all the shadows in every palette are so uniquely paired. The shade selection in here is so much better than Morphe brushes, and I'm not trying to throw any kind of shade at Morphe, but I feel like with their palettes you get 35 shades of like the same color. Like there are like 4 different tones in the palette and they all look the same on the eyes, but I feel like with these, they're just, each one is so different. So I have been using these pretty much every day since I got them, and they are so high quality. I love them so much. They're easy to blend out. They're not too pigmented like the Subculture palette to where they're hard to work with. Like you don't have to be super careful. Like you don't have to be super delicate when you're tapping your brush in. I forgot to mention one of the most important things. It's $15. They're so affordable. I think it came within 4 or 5 days from the time that I placed my order. And these palettes have seriously become my favorite because they have every shade I could ever think about using, and I'm so happy that I found them. So going over a couple of other things I got, they do have City Color Cosmetics on the website, and this was highly rated, and I've always wanted to try things from City Color, but I don't think I've ever tried anything. But this is the City Color Rose Gold Cream Eyeshadow, I believe. Yeah, Rose Gold Mousse. So a mousse is exactly what this is, and it just feels very whipped and very creamy. I actually haven't used this one on my eyes yet. I'm not gonna use it today because the look I'm creating is gonna be all matte, but I do have very high hopes for this one. This would also be really pretty on the face as well. So the next thing I got is a brush from Kara Cosmetics, but on the website it's separated into 2 different brands. Like on this it says Kara Beauty, but on the palettes it says Kara Cosmetics. And on the website you have a Kara Beauty and a Kara Cosmetics like section, so I don't really know why they do that. But this is the K17 large blending brush. I love this brush so much. It does remind me a lot of like the Morphe M513 brush, which is one of my favorite crease brushes. This one is longer than that one. I have washed this a couple of times and it has not shed either time. It does feel very sturdy and very high quality. It doesn't seem like something that's going to break apart from the ferrule or anything. It feels like it's just very expensive. It's an amazing crease brush. I've been using this every single day since I got it in. and this was only $3.99. That is so affordable. And the last thing I got is this cleanser brush. You actually use this with your cleanser like in the shower, and this is called the Soft Face Cleansing Brush. This is $4.99. It says it has soft fine wool fiber and a wooden handle. It says the soft fine brush deeply cleans pores, hair minimizes irritation on the skin, and these bristles are seriously so soft. I've never felt a brush that's this soft. And when I was putting my cleanser on, my cleanser foamed up so well, like way more than what it usually does, and my skin just felt very soft afterwards, like softer than what it does after my Clarisonic. But that is it for the haul section. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we're gonna get started with the fall eyeshadow look. This is an all matte look, and I did post a picture on my Instagram and you guys asked for a tutorial, so here's the first fall eyeshadow look of the season. So I've already primed my lids, and the two eyeshadow palettes I'm gonna be using today are the ES09 and the 06. So here's what the 09 looks like. Very, very pretty. And then here is the 06. So I just kind of go back and forth between these two. And I mean, I know I'm using two different palettes, and that might be like kind of inconvenient for you guys. I mean, two palettes for $30 and you get 70 shades. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna go into the 09 and just take these two shades over here, which are both matte, the skin tone creamy colored eyeshadows, and just pat this all over my lid to set my primer. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go in with a couple of mustardy yellow shades, which that's one of the biggest things I like about the Subculture palette. I've fallen in love with like mustard yellow, as you can see. So I'm gonna go into the 06 palette. I'm gonna take this yellowy mustard shade right here at the bottom. I'm gonna take that on my Kara K17 brush that I just showed you guys, and just put this all in the crease as my transition shade. So when you're blending these shades, try to keep the eyelid clear, like the inner corner to about the center, because we're gonna keep that a little bit more bright and not add any darkness in there. So going back into that 06 palette, I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is just a little bit more of like a golden mustard. It's a little bit more, I guess, brown, I guess you can say. It's a little bit deeper as well. And just put this lower in the crease, like in the outer V in the socket. And I'm not dragging this too far in. I'm stopping about maybe like half of the way in. But I just think this eye look is gonna be so pretty for all eye colors. I think it will emphasize pretty much every eye color there is. I'm gonna go into the 09 and mix these two orange shades right here in the middle of the palette. This one's a little bit brighter, this one's a little bit more toned down. I'm just gonna get a little bit of each one on my brush. I'm not gonna really get a whole lot, because when we put those outer V shades in there, you're gonna see the orange kind of poking out at the very top, and it looks so pretty and so autumny. So what I like about these shadows is that they're not overly pigmented and overly intense to where they're hard to work with, because I've always said I would rather work with like a buildable eyeshadow than one that's like super intense, like the Subculture palette, that's kind of like scary to work with. I just want it to be an easy application, and I do find that that's the way these are. I'm gonna go back in with that brush that I used for the mustard yellow shades, and with whatever's left over, just kind of blend in the crease. So that doesn't have to be perfect right now, because we're gonna be covering up a lot of it. So now I'm gonna go back into the 06 palette and take this shade at the very bottom of the palette, which is this reddish, kind of like salmon-y color. So I'm just gonna put this in the very outer V. I'm not really putting this in the crease, just kind of in the socket, just to kind of deepen it up a little bit. But it just adds a really pretty berry tone in there, and I love this kind of shade. So when I first applied it to the outer V, I kind of had this brush, and this is a Coastal Scents like Pro Fluffy brush or something, but I had it like this where it's kind of laying flat against the outer V, and then to blend it out and diffuse a little bit more, I turn it vertically to where the bristles are kind of diffusing it into the crease a little bit more and kind of spreading it out. And then I'm gonna go back into that same palette with that shade right next to the one we just now used. It's just a little bit deeper, but again, it's just a reddish toned berry kind of color, but it has more red than purple. So I'm just gonna take that on that same brush and turning it where it's flat again, and just put that right in the socket, not even in the outer V. Like, I'm not putting it right close to the lash line or anything, right below that orange shade. So I'm gonna go back into that brush that I used with the orange shades and pick up a little bit more orange on the brush and just put this very lightly right there above the berry tone shades, like the reddish tone shades. So now I'm going to take just one of those like bone colored shades that we used earlier to set all over the eyelid. I'm just going to take a mixture of those two shades on a smaller brush and just put this on the eyelid to the center and brighten up the eyelid a little bit more, because obviously when you're putting shadows all around one area, they're gonna get in that area a little bit and kind of dull it a little bit. I'm gonna make sure it's really bright, And also when you're putting it right on top of that berry shade, if it got a little bit in the center, it's gonna kind of soften it to where it fades better. So I'm just mixing a yellowish shade with a more like ivory shade. Nothing too white. And I'm gonna take those same two shades and use them as a brow bone highlight. So I'm gonna go back in with pretty much all the brushes. Like we're gonna start out with that crease brush, blend right below the brow bone. Going back in with the orange brush, blending right there where we put the orange. And then going in with that last brush that we used for those red tone shades and just kind of touching up. If you have to add a little more product, you can, because the ivory shades may have messed up a little bit of the intensity. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more there. So I'm gonna go into this shade in the 09 palette, which is right next to the bottom. It's like the second to the bottom. And it's like a satin champagne color. It's not too shimmery, but it will add a hint of brightness in the inner corner. So I'm just gonna take that on a pencil brush and put that right in the inner corner. So now I'm gonna go into the lower lash line. I'm just gonna put one single color on. I'm gonna go back into the 06 palette and take this matte fudgy kind of brown shade. It's kind of more orange and warm. And I'm just gonna put this right at the lower lash line. I'm not gonna smudge it out a whole lot or, you know, really try to smoke it out. I'm just gonna lay it down pretty much. Actually, you know what? Let's go in with a little bit of red. Let's go in with that deeper red that we use on the eyelid. Just a little bit on the outer edge. I'm gonna take a pencil brush. I'm gonna smudge that out just a little bit, just so it's not too harsh. Okay guys, so I'm back with the finished look like 3 hours later. As far as which eyeshadow palette I like best, I can't really answer that because I think they're all worth it. I would say probably my favorite one is the ES06, just because it has these two really pretty like reddish berry tone shades in here, which are so hard to find. And it has just a really good shade selection. It has your golden like mustardy colors, it has your oranges, your browns, your black. I mean, it has everything. So I'm gonna continue to play around with these and create some more looks. So if you guys wanna see more looks with these palettes, then please let me know. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial slash haul. If you guys wanna see more videos like this, then please let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. All the links are below, as well as all the products I talked about today. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Mwah.